And welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of From the Nosebleeds. Another week has gone by in New York sports, and we have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to get right to it. Thank you guys for showing up. Appreciate all the love again that you guys are showing me. And so let's get right down to it. The Giants. This stupid hat that I'm wearing. I don't even know why I'm wearing it. Like, fuck that. Literally, what the fuck are we doing? The Giants, I don't know what's going on. Your guess is as good as mine, and I am beyond. I'm mind-boggled that what we're doing, getting rid of Eli Apple. As much as I didn't like Eli Apple, that's all right. But only getting a 4th and 7th round pick, which is fine for him for his worth. He's hasn't been as productive as a top first round draft pick, but he still was a little bit of a cancer in the locker room, so that's not as bad. But I'm so furious about is a Snacks trade. If you guys don't know who Snacks is Damian Harrison. He's a defensive tackle. He's one of the best run stoppers in the league, like top 3 defensive run stoppers, maybe the best one in the league. But we traded him away for a 5th round pick. What the fuck are we doing? Seriously, like, I understand the rebuild and that, like, we're kind of giving up on the seasons and trying to build for the future, but for one of the best run stoppers in the game, 1 5th round pick, like, are you fucking kidding me? This is so fucking stupid, and I just don't understand why, for such little value. If it was like a couple of 2nd round and a 3rd round pick, like at least 3 picks in the top 2 or 3 rounds, 5th round picks are usually just like, no one's you're getting like special teams players at that point, or backups that are projects for the future, like that hopefully will turn out to be like a productive player at that point. But I just don't understand what that he's worth as a team member. I would be like, as a fan, be like, he's definitely worth more than a 5th round pick. So like, I just don't understand what the thought process was. We probably could have gotten definitely better deals than what we did, but I just don't know what we're doing with that. And we're not done. We're having a fire sale. Like, sound the alarm. Like, we are literally going all out. Like, no one is safe. They're saying the most likely Jackrabbit, Janoris Jenkins is probably next, just because he has a big contract. Maybe even Vernon, who also has a big contract. But the thing is, we're not getting much in return, which is to be expected because another team is taking on their contract, which they don't want the salary cap to be hit that much by an aging player, which all these players are. But still, like I said, like, these are still like really good players, and they're starters for pretty much every team in the NFL. So like, and these are like somewhat game-changing players. So getting what we're except Eli Apple, because he was kind of trash. But what we're giving up and what we're getting in return is, I don't think, is fair value. So I just don't know what the fuck we're doing as the Giants. We lost again. Another big surprise. Kind of called it. We get, it was a close game at the end, which I was very surprised about. But just Shermer's play calling, like to go for 2 and try to, win that way. And like, it was a lot of factors to go in, and just the play calling itself. I didn't look right, and it just seemed like we were hesitant, and we had no confidence in our offense, which we shouldn't have, but like no confidence in our defense either. So I don't know. We lost again. We're playing this week, and I see us going 1-7, going into the halfway mark of the season. Literally, I don't see us improving. Maybe I counted out the schedule, and I see maybe 2 to 3 more wins. So maybe we end up 4-12, but it's honestly, we are looking pretty good for the top pick in the draft as of right now. But yeah, so I'm not quite sure. There's a lot of drama going on. I don't know what's going on in the locker room. Odell is like saying one thing and then saying he loves Eli and then like hates Eli the next day. Like, I don't know what's going on. A lot of people are like scared, but we're rebuilding for the future, and that's what it's coming down to. How long will that take? We've been waiting since our championship season. I think we made the playoffs once, and then that's it. So we're impatient. We're kind of done with the season. I know a lot of if you guys saw my Instagram live with Matt, he's really pissed off and stuff like that. So that's like a lot of fans feel, but that's how it's breaking down. So we're trying to just get draft picks, see what we can have, give Loletta a shot. At this point, fuck it. Sorry, Eli, you're my boy. You're awesome, but I thank you for all you've done. But Eli, I'm sorry, man. you guys to go. At least that's fine if you want to retire a Giant or whatever. I think you're one of the all-time great Giants. You know, you led us to 2 Super Bowls and stuff like that. But it's time. You gotta cut the and lose. You know, I maybe not trade him. I definitely don't think he should be traded. You know, he's still a veteran leader in the locker room, and he can teach Laletta a lot of things. You know, he's been in the league for so long, and you know he's learned. He has playoff experience and stuff like that. So as a backup, but time to let the young guns shine. You know, I think it's time for all the young players to start like rotating in and getting more practice in, because it's what do we have to lose at this point? We have nothing to lose. So I think that's my opinion on that. I know it's really quick and short, but I'm pretty sure all of you have heard the news, especially if you're a Giants fan. Like this has been a long time coming at this point in the season. So I think it's just time for the young guns to start filling in and like having major roles in key players. You know, such as Tomlinson. He's gonna be the main focal point now that Snacks is gone. He's gonna be he's only in his second year, but he's shown like promise and stuff like that. So he's gonna be like the main anchor that the defensive line hands on, and that's what a lot of Giants fans and the Giants like organization is saying, that he's gonna be the focal point of the new generation of the new D line for the G-men. So it's just stuff like that. Like I said, we don't know who's next. Everyone's pretty much on the chopping block at this point. So especially on the defensive side, it looks like we're having a fire sale, like I said. So that's kind of at that point where we are in the season, and like the stage we are in the careers of a lot of these players, and then the Giants as a whole, who we don't have an identity at this point. You know, we don't know who we are as a team, so we have to get back to that and stuff like that. But because we have so many trades and stuff like that, if you guys saw my Twitter, Corey Coleman got signed to the practice squad, but now he also got promoted because we had some injuries, and the wide receiver like Latimer got hurt and stuff like that. So Corey Coleman got called up from the practice squad, so he'll probably suit up on Sunday. As well as we signed Tony Labette, a cornerback. He played in the Dolphins like 2 years ago, and then last season he couldn't play because he had like a torn pectoral or like arm muscle, stuff like that. So he didn't play last season. It was like a season-ending surgery. But then he came back this season, got on the Dolphins, was on like the preseason squad and stuff like that, but got cut just because they didn't like his performance. But we picked him up. He had decent numbers. The last time he played, he had like 4 interceptions. He had like 12 tip balls and like played like almost every game. So those are some new additions and stuff like that. But like I said, it's not helping. Might as well just put everyone on the practice squad on the team. I don't give a fuck. Like, literally at that point, it's just who we are. A little bit of Jets. They're playing the Chicago Bears. The main key there, Khalil Mack. Stop him. You got to throw 2-3 guys on him. That guy's a beast. You know, he's going to do everything he can to disrupt Darnold and stuff like that. The game plan, hopefully, try to do what they did. Use Crowell to like run the ball as much as possible. Go on the opposite side of Mac. Everyone's saying just go opposite wherever he's going. Just so he has to run more and stuff like that and tire him out. But it's gonna be hard with Bilal Powell. He's such a good leader, and he sees the field really well. He's a good blocker when he picks up whoever is a free runner on the defense, to give the quarterback a couple more seconds to throw the ball. But he's out, so like that safety blanket is kind of gone. So it's gonna be more on Crowell this game. But he's not the best at picking up blocks. He's a physical runner, so he might tire out quickly too. So that's gonna be hard for the Jets to manage, because they want to obviously use the run game. But Khalil Mack is such a dominant force, and is probably the best defensive player of this year so far. Having so many sacks and strip fumbles and everything like that. So number one priority, stop Khalil Mack. But it's cool to see 2 young quarterbacks really go against each other. Trubisky last year, and then Darnold this year and stuff like that. And then Nunwa, he got hurt, so he's not playing this Sunday. So that's like Darnold's main number 1 target is Quincy Nunwa. So he's out, and so that's kind of scary for the Jets fans to see, because like third down, who is he going to? Robbie Anderson is still not, he's not consistent enough to be the number 1 target. And Nunwa was like that safety blanket. Darnold was like, all right, third and 7, whatever, he'll get it, throw it to him, and he'll try to make a play, to get that first down and stuff like that. So another one's out, so that's going to be kind of huge for them. We'll see who kind of steps up for Darnold and like see who becomes like his number 1 receiving target this week. But I think it's going to be a close game. I actually do think the Jets will win this one. But like I said, it might come down to a last second or like a last drive, or at least a stop to prevent the offense from scoring. But I think it's going to be a close one. Danny, one of my close friends from Marquette, he's in New York, and Scott, they're both roommates. So let's see who gets, if they have a challenge for each other, if loser has to buy someone, whatever. Usually it's probably a Burger King shake. A Burger King shake is probably on the line. That's Danny's go-to. So shout out to Danny and Scott and Evan who has to put up with this. And thank you guys, Danny and Evan, for watching my video. I saw you guys put it up on Instagram saying who needs to watch from the nosebleeds when you can watch from my couch. So thank you guys for the support. I love it, and thank you so much for showing some love and stuff like that. So that's it. All I got for Giants and Jets. Relatively quick. I know my last video was a little bit long. Thank you for anyone who's watched the entirety. I do have a lot on my mind, and it's a lot to talk about. It's a week's worth of stuff. But that's all I really got. So I have the Jets winning, Giants probably losing. That's what I'm gonna go with, just because we're terrible. And we'll see what goes on from there, and how the new committees for the Giants, having two big starters at least off the field, and see who can have from there on. So going on from the Jets and the Giants, got a little bit of hockey. Rangers, 3, not the best start. We're doing pretty not so great, but it's to be expected. We're still a young team. We're still trying to get to know each other and stuff like that. So I'm part of the team. We as fans are a part of the team because we're as committed as they are. So watching every game and stuff like that. I did catch a couple of games and stuff like that. We had 2 of our 3 wins are from overtime, so that helps. But like, it's not good that we're going to overtime a lot. But it's experience and stuff like that. From what I've seen in the games, it looked usually in the first quarter and the start of the second, we are playing really slow. Like, we have no pace. We're lackadaisical, tough word. But lackadaisical, and just like we're just kind of skating just to skate, and like and then like the second quarter, you like halfway through, we're starting to like pick up the pace, and and find a rhythm to our game and stuff like that. So that's good to see, but it's like always a little bit too late, because either the other team scores, or like we get lucky on 1 goal, but they come right back and stuff like that. That's happened a couple of times. Hank is not looking too great, and it sucks to see this because it's Hank. But it's kind of the theme, I guess. A lot of New York sports is or at least for the Giants and the Rangers, like these 2 iconic older veteran players, Lundqvist and Eli. And they're just kind of like, they're up in their age, so like, it's affecting their game, and they're not what they used to be. So like, that's kind of sad to see, because those are such iconic players in their respected, teams. Like Eli, of course, being a Giant, and then Lundqvist, who's been the goalie and the face of, pretty much one of the faces of the franchise forever for the the last 10 years or so. So it's hard to see as a passionate fan. It's hard to see these guys not do well, because you expect them to do so well and to be great, because they have been. So it's kind of sad to see what what might happen, and like it's gonna getting used to like seeing the team without these people, whether it be after this season or whatever. It's gonna be an adjustment period, but it's also exciting because we'll see a new face and try to see the new era of both these teams. But like I said, the Rangers, we started in Chicago, we lost to Chicago, but now we have a 3-game stretch in the West Coast, in Cali. I think it's gonna be a good test for our young team to see what they're really made of. This is their first road trip, really, and to get to know each other and like play, go from coast to coast and stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the Rangers do. Like I said, not the start we wanted, but like it's also to kind of be expected with the young team that we have, and like not a lot of new faces and stuff like that, to get to know the system and get to know each other, really, stuff like that. And so from the Rangers, we go on to the Devils. I know I mentioned last week they had a 4-0 start. It was a great start for them, but since then they've kind of gone downhill. They've lost. Most of the games they played, I think they're 4-2-1 now, but you know, they played a lot of good teams in those matches, and it was relatively close. The one game that could have gone either way, which was kind of sad to see, was the Predators game, because they had a lead and they gave it up and then they lost in overtime. I know a lot of fans, especially my friend Matt. If you guys saw him, he was on my Instagram story. He went to the game, but it was a close game. So far from the season, you know, it's a lot of good takeaways that they have, but it's a lot of lessons learned too. You know, they're still a relatively young team. You know, they have 1 year under their belt pretty much all together since last season, so they have that. But they're still a young team, so they're going to go through growing pains and stuff like that. So it's not going to be too bad for them. You know, if they make the playoffs, it'll be another added bonus that they get to touch playoff hockey and stuff like that. So it's going to be really good for them, you know, to grow even more. And, you know, by next season, they should be a real force back in the hockey league, in the National Hockey League. So it was a good start, a bit of a rocky, you know, 2 or 3 games after that. But we'll see how they go from there. And then the Islanders, they're in the same boat as both teams. You know, they're 3-4-1, and it's a little bit of inconsistency from what I've seen. I've seen like 2 games now in this past week and such. So, you know, what I see from them is like, you know, 1 good game, 1 bad game, 1 good game, 1 bad game. So they just need to piece it together. You know, it's a little bit like the Rangers. You know, a little bit lack of hustle sometimes. You're just like, what are they doing? You know, too many turnovers. That's like the key for like both teams, for at least the Islanders and Rangers. We have a little bit too many turnovers in our own zones, which leads to like easier plays for the other team to possibly score and stuff like that. And a little bit too many penalties, but you know, they're not as young as the Rangers and the Devils, but you know, it's still early on in the season. I'm not really panicking. So like I said, they're all within their like first 10 games. So it's, you know, it's still the first 10 games, get their legs under them, you know, build up the stamina for the rest of the season and see how it goes on from there. So that's all I got for hockey, a little bit of news. I'm gonna do a little bit of baseball, just to throw out baseball, just because it started the off season and it's like big news. A little just for the Yankees, we got Judge, Tanaka, and Gardner all going for Gold Gloves. They're their finalists for the respective positions in the Gold Glove race. It's Gardner's already has one under his belt, so it'd be cool to get a second. But it's Judge and Tanaka's first. If they win, it would be their first. So Tanaka and Judge, if they win, they will be their first Gold Gloves in their careers. And as for Mets news, we're looking for a new GM. You know, I have no idea what we're doing. So we're down to 2 finalists. It's Brody Van Wagenen. He's an agent. I couldn't find a lot, but he's just an agent for the MLB. And Shane Bloom, who's in like, you know, he's a stats guy. He graduated from Yale, I believe. And then we just got rid of Doug Melvin, who was the GM for the Brewers and the Rangers, which a lot of people, including myself, thought that he was going to get the job just because he's had the experience. Yes, he's a little bit older. I think he's 66, but like he's built teams already. And, you know, look at the Brewers this past year. But like he wasn't there for that, but like he you know, he's built teams and he knows baseball and stuff like that. He's had the experience for many years and stuff like that. While these 2 guys are relatively young, I think Van Wagenen is like 44 and Shane Bloom is, I think they said 36. So, you know, and they're 2 different sides of the spectrum. One's an agent, so he knows more of the business and the, you know, how to interact with players and stuff like that, but like not a lot of baseball knowledge. And then Shane is like the analytics guy. He does numbers and stuff like that. So he's in that new era of baseball, but like, you know, if you guys know me, I think you should use analytics, but you still got to know baseball, you know, like the old school way of like eyeing talent and stuff like that. So it's an interesting race. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. As a Mets fan, I don't know what to expect anymore. You know, it doesn't matter who these guys are. If the Wilpons don't pay up, we're still going to have shit players. So we'll see how it goes. As of right now, they say Van Wagenen is the front runner to win the race to the GM spot. And they said that, and the Mets said they won't hire both. I was kind of thinking that. I was like, maybe what if they just hire both? You know, one as the GM and one like an assistant GM. You know, that way you could kind of get both worlds. You know, analytics. You can be like, oh, these players are good here, blah. And he's the business side and be like, all right, blah, 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 blah. So, but they didn't. They said they'll only take one. So we'll see how in the upcoming weeks who will be the new GM of the New York Mets. So hopefully we do something with it. You know, I'm not expecting a lot. I'm expecting a lot of bullshit. So we'll see how it goes. And a little bit of other news: Franklin Colome, the number 5 ranked pitcher, 5 ranked prospect of the Mets organization on the farm system. He just had Tommy John surgery, so he's out for the entire season. That's coming up, and we got him from the Philly trade for Shibu Kurabura. So a little bit of that, and so that's a little bit of baseball news. Not a lot, as the offseason is still young. The World Series just started. Red Sox are up 2-0, so we'll see how it goes from there, and see if the Dodgers can come back. I don't know. I think the Red Sox got this in the bag, to be quite honest. So we'll see how that goes, but it's exciting. I love off-season stuff. Trying to see like who gets traded to where, and let's see if the Mets can make a move or the Yankees make a move to make that push. Especially the Yankees, who made the playoffs, so they can get a push to advance further and possibly make the World Series this upcoming year, since they already have a stacked team and they're eyeing Machado. So we'll see, or Bryce Harper. So let's see if they get either or both of those players. So that was a little quick snippet of baseball. For the final two, we got Knicks and Nets. The Knicks actually went to the Knicks-Nets game. It was a really close game. So it was really cool to see. It was the Nets home opener, so if you guys were there, I'm sure you guys saw the court outside. It was really cool. It was a lot of fan interaction, and the crowd was really hype. It was a good mix. It was about, I would say 55-45, because I saw a lot of Knicks fans. So it was cool to see, the whole crowd and just New Yorkers be with each other and stuff like that. So that was really cool to see. But the game itself was really close. I get why, LeVert had a game-winning shot, basically, where he made a layup with 1 second left, and then we had a chance to tie it, or to take the win with a last-second 3, which I thought was a poor decision, but we just chucked it up and missed. But it's all right. But then the second game against the Celtics, he did the same thing. We were tied. Tatum had the last-second shot, and for both games, he had Tim Hardaway Jr. guard who was gonna have the ball last, and he said that he wanted to put trust in him and show that he trusted our veteran leader. I get it. I get why he wants to put trust in him, but fuck that. Put Frank. Frank is our best defender, and our most athletic defender. So I don't understand why he's putting Tim Hardaway Jr. Put trust in the young guy, that gives him trust. I was telling people, I was like, okay, he gives him trust by putting Hardaway on the best player, or like who is going to take the final shot. But how much trust is he going to have and have more confidence if he lost both games? He literally lost both games because he couldn't stop the attacker from getting to the rim. And so I was just like, that I would feel shitty. I'll be like, yo, I'm a player. I just lost 2 games for us that we could have won, or at least go into overtime to get the win. So I was just like, I would put, and I talked to a lot of people that they would put Frank in. He's 6'7", 6'8", with a huge wingspan, and he's athletic. So, and he's one of our best perimeter defenders. So put him, on the person who's gonna take the last shot, not Tim Hardaway Jr. So I don't know. Like I just agree with those decisions that Fizdale made, but he's the coach, not me. We all wishes we were the coach sometimes, but that's not how it really is. But I just don't understand that move itself. When they came back and the Warriors are in town, so a lot of people, it's Durant's. He can bounce after this end of the season, and so I haven't seen it personally, but near MSG there's a poster, and it had Durant as in a Knicks uniform and stuff like that, because he's a free agent and stuff like that, so he can choose wherever he wants to go, and one of the teams he was linked to was the Knicks. So I don't think it'll happen at all, to be quite honest. But they put a poster up, and then the media asked, "Hey, what do you think of the new poster and stuff like that?" And he basically said, "I don't give a shit about it." He says that doesn't impress me, blah blah blah. He's like, that stuff never really impressed me. He's like, I'm just trying to play basketball. And I was like, you know what, dude? Every team's gonna do it. Every city's gonna try to woo you over with that just to say like they have. But he basically said, I really don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. I'm just here to play basketball and do well and like just try to win another ring. So I don't think we'll get KD here to New York. It'd be cool if we did, because then we would have a lot of good young players with focused around one superstar who can score the ball, obviously. but also actually plays a little bit of defense. The way he's playing this year, he's playing really good defense. And he has championship, and he's won 2 back-to-back Finals MVP. So that'd be cool to see. So yeah, not a great start from the Knicks. A lot with the Rangers. We go off to slow starts sometimes, but it's usually in the second unit that's been really picking up the pace, and like I went in my first video, they anchor down the defense a lot, and they get their hands in the passing lanes and go off for like transition buckets and stuff like that. So yeah, I still think, and then Kevin Knox going down really sucks because obviously we want him to play, being our first round pick and stuff like that, and having so much hope for him. But he twisted his ankle. They said out 2 to 4 weeks, but I just read a report that he's already like putting a little bit more weight on it and doing activities, not like full basketball activities, but he's putting weight on it, is like and walking again. So he might be back sooner rather than later, which is really good to see. Just because I want to see what the kid has. So that'd be cool. And as for the Nets, it goes vice versa. They're in 2-2, and they're better than the Knicks right now. So they had a good win against the Cavs. They pretty much blew them out. It was 102-86, and the Cavs are not what they used to be without LeBron, obviously. So a lot of good things from the Nets. Usually the pacing's really good, like I said. They just got Hollis Jefferson back, who's a huge defensive stopper. And he's lengthy, and he's a good like energy guy. So they're a really long team. So him and Chris Levert definitely can like outstretch you and stuff like that. Joe Harris is killing it from behind the 3 and just doing everything right. Like he's just not missing at all. So he's really big, being a big part of the offense and really helping the Nets, get points and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see. Not that much else. Like it's only a couple games into the season as well. So still a lot to see from both teams. It's gonna be growing pains for the Knicks, just because we are so young again. A lot of New York teams are young, but the Nets, they're finding their groove a little bit, a little bit more mature and stuff like that. They have a little bit more veteran leaders and a veteran staff. So we'll see what the Nets can do. But so far so good for the Nets, just kind of breaking even and stuff like that. And then a little bit continuation from last week's question about girlfriends and boyfriends or significant others, and liking rivalry teams. Shout out to my good friends Emily and Parker. They're a couple, and they like rivalry teams. Parker being a New York fan and Emily being a Boston fan. So they say they do a lot of things. They sometimes bet and stuff like that, just to keep things interesting. But the one bet that still hasn't come true to this day, but I'm gonna put it on there because I told them I would. So Parker, you have to come through with it. Is that it was a bet for the Pats versus the Giants, and whoever won had to wear the winning quarterback's jersey in their own city. So, i.e., if the Giants won, Emily had to wear an Eli jersey, and then Parker had to wear a Brady jersey. And to this day, it hasn't been completed. It's been like 3 years, I believe. So they said 2015, but Parker stipulated that she had to buy the winner probably had to buy the jersey, and so I believe Emily's gonna buy him. It's gonna be a pink Brady jersey, at least from the picture she sent me. That's what it's gonna be. So if you see a guy wearing a pink Brady jersey in New York just walking around one day, that's my friend Parker. But it's all in good fun, Like I said, at the end of the day, hopefully the relationship and everyone's relationship, that's first and foremost. But it's nothing wrong with having a little bit of fun, especially if both partners have a rivalry team that they like. So I think that's really cool and really funny. I hope to see it. I hope to get a picture. Maybe put it up on the website if they let me. But thank you, Emily and Parker, for sharing that story with me and letting me put it on this, because that's really cool of you guys. So thank you so much. And then also, shout out to my boy, Nick Visco. If any of you guys are hip-hop fans, and try to discover new hip-hop music and stuff like that, check it out. Nick Visco's Hip Hop Shop. He's got some cool swag. These shirts, I just got it yesterday. It's so soft. Like, it's unbelievably soft. And it's a cool design, and he's such a good dude, and he's so hardworking, and he's perfecting his craft, and he's growing. Like, he started off, a little bit like this, getting friends and stuff like that, and then he's growing. He's getting a good fan base and stuff like that, and he's getting, on Facebook Live, he's getting an average of like 100 viewers every stream now. So Nick, thank you for the shirt. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support as well. I wish you nothing but the best in your channel. And so if you, like I said, if you guys like hip hop and stuff like that, if you have any friends that are artists and wants to spread out, and venture out and give someone their links, check out Nick Visco's Hip Hop Shop. He gives real critiques as well, deadass opinions. It's all about the New York swag and stuff like that. We're trying to be honest with our community and our friends. So shout out to Nick. Thank you again for the love, man, and I appreciate all that you do. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. It's a little bit less, 17 minutes and stuff like that. 7 minutes less than last time. So I think I'm doing a little bit better. I'm gonna try to pace it out and try to make it 20 to 30 minutes because I know it's still relatively long. But on that note, I am Audi 5000. Thank you guys. See you next week.